I wanted to ask you about a particular aspect of the role of the press and the media narrative in the issues of policing and police abuse. For most of the country's history, and I've done quite a bit of studying of the history of the press in America, the press functioned almost as an intelligence operation for the dominant white community. During the colonial period, as much as a third of all of the content of American newspapers was intelligence to the white settlers about what the African American or the Native American communities were doing. But even up to the 60s, the press were largely white, and the rebellions of the 60s, they reported from a white perspective, as the Kerner Commission noted. But in recent years, as the press themselves have become diversified, we're seeing both in the mainstream medium and, of course, now with citizen videos, this enormous change in the narrative as to what the role of the police is. I'm wondering if you think that along with the public resistance movement will have a more lasting effect in terms of redirecting or changing the nature of policing in America.
Juan, it's a great question, and I certainly appreciate even your sharing your own research and brief history of media in the past. I think it's important. So if the question is, can we see this moment for the democratization of media itself, obviously by virtue of social media and the fact that citizens can aggregate and spread news in ways that they could not before, I do think this is a fundamentally different moment. The gatekeeping of information and distribution of knowledge has broken down in many ways, both for good and for bad. But on the good side of the ledger, there's no question that this is a moment of possibility because there is a crisis of legitimacy in our democratic institutions, most obviously in the executive branch with the White House. But it is also true that news agencies around the country, no matter who's in charge, a Black person or a white person or a Latino or Asian American, have been deferential over the past to official accounts. And the crisis of legitimacy for police agencies has led many of those news directors, no matter who they are, to begin to think like, we can't trust the official record. In the case of Derek Chauvin's killing of George Floyd, he lied on the police record. So the deference that has been assumed up to this time now is breaking down. The ability to shoot in real time the killing and execution of people by police, or the brutality directed by police, as is the case in Buffalo and many other places as police use brutality to stop protesters from protesting against brutality, means that this crisis of legitimacy will be resolved. The only question of what the resolution looks like is how long will people stay in the streets demanding change?